Hey, folks, I'm Tommy. Welcome to the boat. How are you? Hope you're having a good Saturday night. Um, it is it's me and the large kitty is taking up a chair right next to me, and hopefully we'll be kicking it for the remainder of the show. We decided to go a little early tonight, so in the beginning we're probably gonna be a little thin because everybody's expecting me at 9:30. 7:30 rather California time. I didn't do the didn't go earlier on the other channel because they're doing a fundraiser for SPTV, and there's a bunch of people going on this thing. It's like a 12-hour excursion where they're going to have a bunch of different guests and whatnot. And I don't want to particularly step on anybody's party. You know what I mean? Kristen B, good to see you. Fifth, could be. Mr. Ray Ray, how are you? There's Brazy girl. Brazy, how are you? Tina Serlin, glad you are here. RSM. RGM. Sorry. I had there's a good watch company in the US. Actually, damn near as good as most Swiss watches. Guy's really a beast. Roland Murphy, RGM watches, hand-built stuff, really, really nice. But bespoke, like he builds it particularly for you, and you pick out all the different things. Jimmy Pickles, it's good to see you, man. Glad you're here. I'll probably be doing a little ranting before the night is through. There's a couple of things that I'll probably feel the need to go off about. You know, if you've been watching the boat, I do a lot with I do a lot with that scumbag Sean Combs. I've been going off on him a lot lately, and probably because we saw this one coming, didn't we? I mean, we were all talking about this one for so long, but there's been all of this speculation concerning why they did not arrest this cat the day that they raided his house, right? This is honestly, everybody and their brother are talking about why they didn't, why were there not arrest warrants, man? Normally, when you kick a door in, and they did, by the way, normally when you kick a door in, you're gonna have some arrest warrants with you, and everybody leaves in handcuffs. It's kind of a tradition. Didn't happen this time, and there's been some speculation as to why. There's a lot of different theories as to why. Before we get to them, I'll tell you something that I thought was odd. We watched them raid that place, right? We watched them raid both coasts, and I don't mean we saw images of them parked there and people talking. No, we watched those babies rolling in, guys hanging on the outside of it. You've seen the clips, right? They're hanging on the outside. They're going through the gate. Who filmed that? And how the hell did they know to be there to film that? Right? So somebody got tipped off. They had a helicopter at one of the houses. They had a helicopter overhead. I mean, they were ready, right? So this puppy was tipped off. The FBI had to call somebody at I don't know, one of the large news outlets got tipped off. Now, I don't know that I'm particularly mad about that, right? Who cares? Well, if you can, if somebody can tip off the press, somebody can tip off Diddy. I promise you, man. If you can't keep it secret from the press, what makes you think you're going to keep it secret from the billionaire who seems to have people working everywhere? So I find that one really odd, man. Honestly, think about it for a second. It's like that. There's a stupid reality show on where a guy repos airplanes, right? And in every single show, he breaks into a hangar to steal a plane. And he'll be on the outside, jimmying with the lock. And the second the door opens, the light comes on, and you can see him running toward a camera. Whoa, wait. How was there a camera inside before they broke into the door? You start going, look, man, this doesn't make sense. But we've become so damn accustomed to just watching crap on TV and on movies that we don't even think about it. Straight up. How come no one's asking that question? Where did the press come from? You knew he was raiding that house at that time on both coasts. You guys are clowns. Honest to God, that's clown crap, man. He was tipped. I guarantee you he was tipped off. Why do you think he wasn't there? Now, here's a theory that I think may or may not hold water. And I don't know, actually, I think it's kind of solid. So you see all these lawsuits that people are currently filing, right? Yeah, you know, Christian B says maybe it's a good point. Maybe Diddy did get rid of the really bad stuff. Well, it's a possibility. I mean, we know that on Epstein's Island, right? The FBI the leading premier investigative arm, supposedly on the earth, certainly in the United States, went down to that island and didn't secure it. Right? For real, didn't secure the island. They didn't get the stuff. I mean, this is not, you don't even have to deep dive to look into this. Now, the following day, they went back and picked stuff up. They left it for 24 hours. Do you think nobody messed with that in 24 hours? Why would the feds have not seized everything anyway? Waste of time. But so on this Diddy raid, all of these lawsuits are going. By the way, a couple more have dropped. True story, man. They're coming out of the woodwork. I'm considering suing the cat myself. Right? Everybody's got a lawsuit going on Diddy, with the exception of 50 Cent. I think everybody is suing him. Right? 50's just going to make a documentary about him. But I'll tell you something. One of the allegations is that one of these parties, that there were 6 women at this party, girls, not women, 6 girls at this party that were under the age of 16. Okay. If Diddy's taping everything in this house, right? If he's got a camera in every single room and things are being done to kids under the age of 16 on film, right? We have a word for that, right? When bad things happen to kids under the age of 18 on film of that nature, right? That's that kind of possessing that kind of material is a pretty serious friggin' crime. But more importantly, when the feds find out about it, their first goal is to make sure that that crap does not get disseminated, that that stuff doesn't get shared out, that that stuff isn't being traded, any of that, right? They want to protect the people who are on those tapes. And I think that there's a chance that may have been what was going on. They don't have the whole case built. They don't have all this. But in those lawsuits that the whole world can read, they talk about how he films every one of these encounters, right? And we know he kept the video of him kicking the crap out of Cassie. Makes a lot of sense, right? Makes a lot of sense. Says what kind of cat this dude is, right? So he's probably got anything that happened to these kids on tape. And to protect them, they may go in there, kick those doors, and try to get that just in case. That I think that's kind of legit, man. I really think that's kind of legit. And it's a theory, right? It's a theory. Now I'll tell you this: if you start trying to deep dive this thing in any way, shape, or form, the rabbit hole that you will go down, just trust and believe that whatever you read, right, for the title of a video, it's not going to be what's in the video. Nothing has ever been more clickbaity than the Diddy stories. Oh my God, the clickbait in this. I mean, what you got to wade through to get to anything real. Jamie Palmer says, WTF, disgusting. No question, it's disgusting. No question, it's disgusting. It really is. Diary of a Ghost. Hello, I'm glad that you're here. Jamie Smith, glad that you're here. And I'll tell you something, folks. I'm glad I'm here. Hi, Mary. I truly am glad I'm here. I'm glad that we could all get together. I need a few laughs tonight, people. I'm not going to lie to you. I could use a few laughs. Tell you what's going on in my life here in a second. Amen. His real lights says everyone's true colors are showing. Yeah. Couple of priests on these tapes, right? For those of you who know who Jaguar Wright is, if you're following this at all, you know who Jaguar Wright is. She's a singer and really does not like P. Diddy. He's been trying to take this dude down from the very beginning. Lisa, good to see you. I mean, from Jump Street. Christy Covington, good to see you. Glad you're here. He's been pretty vicious about wanting to take Diddy out, and she is out there on a lot of these videos, just reading everybody. And I'll tell you something, she's pretty damn bold. If you to throw out the names and the accusations and the things that she's saying, you got to really believe what you're saying, because you're putting this out there. People with $1 billion, they'll take a lawsuit on you for shits and giggles. You realize that? If you got $1,000 million and you piss me off, I'll just hire a lawyer for $100,000, sue you, force you to try to come to court. I mean, they can ruin you just for laughs. They can tie you up in court forever. And she's got to really, she's got to really, really believe what she's saying in order to buy that stuff, to say that stuff out loud. I'll tell you. So here's the deal, people. Um, I've been pretty open and honest with everything that's going on. Humana, good to see you. Glad you're here. Kim's Blue, good to see you. I've been talking quite a bit for a long time about my health and the struggles that go along with with everything that goes with that. And one of the things that I've been struggling with recently, and this is a fairly new development. I told you if I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna come on, then we'll walk through it together, right? Mischief Managed, good to see you. Glad you caught us live. That's awesome. I get vertigo. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It starts to feel like the stuff in the I lose my balance and I start feeling like the earth is either a lot closer to me or a lot farther away from me. And it's fleeting. It doesn't happen, normally it comes and goes like that. And but during that time, like if I'm sitting on a chair that doesn't have armrests, I'm in danger of toppling over to the left or right because I don't have, so I end up like throwing my legs out as wide as I can and maybe grabbing onto a desk. And it's usually not that big a deal because it's over very quickly. Man, today I got a bout of it that lasted hours. And it was on the bright side, I ate a ton of food today and I kept down all of it. So that's a really good thing. Got a lot of protein into my system. I ate a ton. I really did. I ate a ton, but I'm really freaked out with the balance thing. And yeah, it's I really hope not. Mischief Managed. What this is so I have I have a problem with my brain, right? I have traumatic brain injury, the cerebral infarction crap. Really start, it's temporal lobe seizures and vertigo, and these things are just kind of very much a part of the whole process, and the sensitivity to to the flashing cramp, like the Fast and Furious kind of edited films, which I can't watch. That kind of stuff is also from there. Carly, do you know that there is physical therapy that might help with vertigo? I'll be really honest with you. The vertigo has always been, since it came on, it's so fast and gone so quickly that well, here's the thing with vertigo. More than like 90% of the time, you have these crystals inside your ears, right? That's what vertigo is caused by. That's not what my vertigo is caused by. My vertigo is caused by brain damage. It's I mean that's the bottom line, is that I just have, the brain is damaged to the point where the damage is there, right? And unfortunately, the damage is over time it gets bigger, and is what it is. But this wasn't a thing a while ago, and part of the adventure of this crap going forward is going to be that different stuff's going to pop up, and we're going to get through it. I'm going to. Idaho Carol says, my grandma had vertigo, yet she still went to the Santa Anita racetrack every day. I'm not going to lie to you. I freaking love that. I'm sorry. It's, I work with gamblers, so I'm not trying to bum anybody out, and I'm not going to glorify anything, but I really enjoyed going to tracks. It was something that in my youth, I really dug. That's okay, Allison Metcalf Palumbo. Thank you, Humana. And I do feel better. I mean, seriously, in all honesty, people, I do feel a lot better. Yes, I saw some of those things, these robot dog things. It's kind of fascinating. At the same time, it's kind of terrifying. I don't like watching stuff that looks like it crawled out of the friggin' Terminator movies, right? To be really honest with you, that scares the crap out of me, right? We can't even predict what people are going to do. But if you give a person, right, a damn near indestructible dog that can shoot at you, I don't know that scares the crap out of me. I think I like it better when they got to send a person in there, right? If they just send an army of mechanical dogs in. And the crazy thing, people, is, let's be really honest. I mean, you start looking around and you go, all those movies that we laughed at in the 80s, right? You know what I mean? Like The machines rising up. That was a pretty damn common theme, right? Yeah, Terminator dog, man. Terminator dog, right? And that was a common theme. But now it starts to feel like what was the name of that company that made the T2000? Right? What was the name of the company that made the Terminator? For the life of me now, I can't think of it. But Teledyne, was it Teledyne? Live for now. Hi all, I'm late, but I'm glad I'm on now. Well, we're glad you're on now too. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Glad you're here. My first job at 12 years old was running the photo finish from the stewards to the official photo box at the track. Love that. Love that. I would have dug that. I really would have dug that. Um, Jamie Palmer. I want to hear this. Jamie Palmer says, Tommy, I think I figured out why I get stumped on getting my feelings out in a journal. I think it's because I like the feedback that comes with a conversation. Great. It's a really good point, too, because this is something that this is a really big deal, Jamie Palmer. Yes, Body Illusion. I did talk to Q on the phone. I'll tell you about it. It was fantastic. I'll touch on that. I promise. We'll tack a pin in it. I'm going to circle back around. But this is a big one, people. Did you catch this? Because this is a friggin' big one. Cyberdyne. Thank you, Jamie Palmer. Here's the deal on this. Here's the deal. If you're not journaling, here's probably why. Right? Really dig the feedback. Well, I'm not going to be on my journal. If you read it, my journal has feedback in it. I'm not joking. The purpose of my journal is to get it to speak to me. You feel me? I mean, I'm not talking about like, split personalities. I'm talking about that thing is a paper therapist, right? For real. It's a paper therapist. I'm writing on this stuff to pull things out of my head. And I'll be writing about something that's bumming me the hell out, and the epiphany happens. And I'm writing the solution 3 lines later. Now, that didn't happen the first day that I started the journal, not by a friggin' stretch, right? I wasn't sold on journaling in 2 days. I promise you I wasn't. I had to fight so hard, right? To journal. It was not something that I could get into, but boy, oh boy, man, it has changed my life for the better. This is the first live in a week. I catch Spanx a little bit an hour ago. Cannot catch a break. Well, you know what? You got one now. Glad you're here. Glad you are here. Um, it's pretty fascinating stuff. But I am of the firm belief, my man, that you absolutely can get feedback from it, right? Lori Wagner says the law is now just a money laundering system. Then you pay taxes on it. Yeah, it's we've got. I'm not going to lie to you. We could design a better system. And I love the fact that the concepts of our system are head and shoulders above everything that has ever come before it, conceptually, right? Things like the things that they say when they teach you law. It's better to let 1,000 guilty men out than to keep one innocent man in, right? But then they estimate that like what 6% of people in prison might not be in there for crap that they did. 6%? Are you woofing me, man? I don't know how somebody could possibly do time that they didn't do the crime for. I mean, that's got to be something that would be the most difficult thing to do on earth. I put my butt there. I deserve to be there in every way. I was supposed to be there, but nevertheless, it wasn't easy. If I wasn't supposed to be there, I can't imagine. But the concepts are beautiful. The problem is human beings get involved, and then the next thing you know, right? I got an idea, right? Just simple, basic ones. Um, the people draw decisions based on what the person testifying looks like, right? Now you can gauge things, but they did an experiment where they put screens up where you couldn't see the person who was being charged with the crime. They would describe what the person did and all of that, right? But they wouldn't let you see them. And we found out some really interesting things with this experiment. One was even people that thought they weren't racist were. And I don't mean in the sense of the word that, you all got a swastika somewhere in your house. I don't think that deep down these people hate. They don't. But we've been so programmed throughout life that we start to look for things that aren't there, and it's so kind of a part of the society that let's use technology. Let's use a better friggin' concept. If we can't live up to the standards that we've set for ourselves, well, then maybe we need to come up with a cheat sheet, right? So that we don't start screwing people over because of the color of their skin, or because of where they were raised, or because they use double negatives when they speak, right? Maybe they can get the world's greatest education, but how people speak um, is important. When you got 12 people listening to them, right? They take that into consideration. It's not something that it's subconscious. But if the person's diction is bad, or if the person has, talks, with words that you're not used to, right? Or tenses that you're not used to, you start to form opinions on whether or not the person is innocent or guilty based on nothing that has anything to do with whether or not the person committed the crime. We cannot be this stupid in 2024. There's got to be a better way. And I'm not, sitting here telling you that I got the answer. But I got to believe that if we were to put smarter minds on this, right, than me, that we could come up with a much better system than the one that we're using right now. Because I happen to know for a fact this one sucks. For real, it just is. Mr. McBurbastic. I'm never going to get that right, but I dig it. How are you? I'm glad that you're here. Hey, Blessed to Crochet. I was watching you on a replay earlier. Mischief Manage and Breezy. All right, people. There we go. I did get an email today, and it was from somebody that apologized out the gate. And the reason that I'm saying this is because I'm hoping they're watching. But they apologized out the gate because they probably caught some shows where they heard that I wasn't taking emails, right? And that my head was messed up. But truth be told, I'm so glad they sent me the email. It was an absolutely beautiful picture of a woman that I care very deeply for at her son's graduation, right? And there was, if you had told me when we first started corresponding that there was a chance on God's green earth that she was going to go see her son graduate, I would not have taken that bet, right? No chance. I would have. Sorry, I probably would have bet she wasn't going to make that graduation. I, she's really come a long way in a short period of time, and she's now moved and is just in a much better situation. But to see the picture of her at Yale, right? Yale, watching her son, who went to school on a full scholarship, graduate. That picture, people. I'll tell you something, man. I am I'm a soft touch. I always have been, but man, that one got me. It really did. I mean, it got me. Spanky actually read the email and he said to me, "I think you should get this." And he forwarded it. And it was very, very emotional. But if you're listening, and I emailed them back. But yeah, I mean, I was really, it was absolutely beautiful to get. Cricket just got back from dinner with the folks. Smell like a cheeseburger. That is glorious. You know what bummed me out today? So I was talking to Quibbs and her son, and Huck says, the Whataburger in town. He's like, yeah, it's not that great, and he started to describe some of the stuff about it. And man, I used to love that when I was in Texas. Whataburger was an institution. That was such a good burger, man. For real, I used to mess those up. His real light said, made my heart smile. You know something? What a great phrase. Made my heart smile. Hey, I dig that. Brianna Miller says, Tommy, you look like the cutest, most beautiful Easter egg ever. I even threw in a little dark blue just to even it out, right? Because I'm trying to broaden my horizons here with the color and the uh, coordinating and whatnot. No, I'm kidding. I'm not trying to do that at all. But last night on the other show, we were joking about it. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Thank you, Breezy. That's a beautiful thing to say. It really is. You know what? Spanx makes me happy too. He's a he's an excellent man. He's growing into I just couldn't be prouder of the kid he's growing into. You know, it's a big deal. It really is. It's a very, very big deal. And I'm loving it. I really am. I'm absolutely loving it. Whataburger is amazing. Might just be that one franchise location. Well, I went there. Apparently, one of these guys here, Mahone, right, the quarterback, bought a grip of them, and they're all over the place. And I don't know. I may have to go test it before I leave, just because I'd be really bummed out to think that it really, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of those burgers that um, I don't know. It's really it's like In and Out, right? They use really fresh ingredients. I don't know. Of all kind of fast food, that one's about as legit as it gets. Hello, Kim Roy. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Kristen Melinda. I was right before I went live. I thought to myself, I'm not going to see Kristen Melinda tonight because I know your boy had a birthday, and I figured you were probably going to be busy with all of that and the cleanup and all of that stuff. I just kind of assumed that we might not see you. I'm glad that you're here. I hope your boy had a fantastic birthday. Um, Sarah says we have Whataburger in Texas. Damn straight. I lived in Houston. Houston. I used to live in Houston, Texas, just outside of Houston, Texas, actually. But absolutely loved Texas. Do 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 ba 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 ba. We will keep you in our prayers, Allison Metcalf Palumbo. Thoughts, prayers, and bare bellies. Care Bear stomachs. Packing up my narcissist mother-in-law's assisted living apartment tomorrow and prep for movers on Thursday. She will be staying in the nursing home where she is rehabbing after a fall. Prayers, etc. Welcome. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's got to be tough. That's always a difficult thing. Easy E, how are you? But yeah, I will absolutely keep you in my thoughts and prayers, especially tomorrow. Um, that's tough. I loved the windy day as a child. We had a plastic bag kites tied on strings through the bedroom window. Great days. You know something? My When my parents would go to San Francisco, come here, kitty. Come on. When my parents would go to San Francisco, they would always bring back from Chinatown those incredible. They're like almost like they look like cellophane, and they're very very light, and they're supposed to look like dragons. They have a very long tail, and they were so much fun when you were a kid. I loved those. Kim Roy says, "I got a new carnival ride. Hub's got one of the lift chairs that lifts you up the stairs." Thank you, VA. Vet administration called and said, coming today. I love that. I love that. And you know what? That's our vets deserve everything that we can give them. Today's a day that really hammers that home. And may as well we're gonna knock that one out while we're here because there's been discussion and debate and whatnot concerning the appropriateness of how we wish somebody a good day tomorrow, because obviously it's a solemn day, right? And the discussion has gotten spirited, and I saw some comments that here's what it gets back to every time. Here's what it gets back to: take what the person's doing in the friggin' spirit that it's intended, and don't be a douchebag. And I'm not picking on anybody. At last night, when people talked about it, everyone was in great stead. Nobody here acted weird, but I saw some ugly comments that people put in other places about this. And you know what, man? Just mean people suck. Right? If a person's trying to be kind, if they miss the mark a little bit, it's so easy to just go thanks. It really is. It's so easy to just go thanks. But we've become a society that feels like, you know what? I'm going to dress this mother down for the next 45 minutes. Holy hell, man. The hell's gotten into us? It's like when people go by a post and the post is something you really don't agree with. It takes like 2 seconds to scroll past that puppy. Okay. Takes you a half hour to stop on it, piss and moan about it, send me a request to have it removed, scroll on by. Okay? I'm sorry if I sound harsh. Holy hell, though. The mean people suck thing just it's been a rule here for a very long time. It's rule number 4. Mean people suck. Right? There's just no reason to be mean to anybody. The more time I spend on this planet, the more that I realize that really is the friggin' golden rule. Right? Quit being mean to one another. It's amazing. 7 days left in May. We will see you on the lifeboat occasionally. I love seeing your glowing face. I do miss you. Thank you, Lifeboat, for the support and the encouragement. You know something? I have learned things recently. I'm so glad you got approved, Kim. I love that. That had to be a very cool phone call. Dusty Rhymes, good to see you. Nat B, glad you're here. Lisa Black, how are you? Shauna B. It is a fantastic rule, right? And I'm not busting on anybody. I understand why people get passionate about things. I get it. But you know what? It's amazing the number of people that have spent like 2 weeks of their lives, right? Complaining to me. I'm not joking. 2 weeks of their lives for a post that you could have scrolled by. Frank Humphreys, good to see you. Now, let's talk about this because in 7 days this ends, right? Because Mental Health Awareness Month is going to take off. But the month of May taught me something that is super important, and this is my happy place, man. Like no joke whatsoever. This is my happy place. I am really comfortable sitting in front of the camera and talking to my friends. It's one of the most comfortable places for me on earth. And this might not make a lot of sense, but because of how I interact with you guys, because I can just sort of I can grab a comment and put it up on the screen and talk about it. And sometimes a comment will come up and it'll clear my brain, right? Is what it is. It happens. And sometimes, I get lost, but I don't hear other voices, right? I don't hear voices here doing this number, which really is tough for me. And the farther I get, the farther I progress, the tougher those voices are. If I'm in a room with 25 people talking, I'm not catching a whole lot of anything, which is kind of sad. But I'm getting better at learning what I can and I can't do, but I dig this. I'm not capable of doing a lot of the things that I was doing before. And you know what sucks about that? If I just keep it real, do you know what sucks about that is? I raised a crap load of money, right? That was one of my biggest gifts was raising a crap load of money. But I put a lot of time in to do that, and I'm gonna have to come back in some form because this is good for me. This is really good for me. So Calhoun has not, we've been talking about it. I don't know exactly what form it takes. I'm going to have a permanent show. I don't know what time slot it will be. What I'm not going to be able to do is a lot of the stuff that I did before with the one-on-one stuff, because I'm going to have, if for what I want, right? For what I want, there are some things that I have to do. There are some things that I'm going to have to engage in, but they're money making. They're generating cash because I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's if Calhoun's message is different and brings in a different group of people. I don't know, but we're running into to a lot of people who are reaching out with opiate problems. I know a lot of that is just that this epidemic, this fent epidemic, right? This nit epidemic, phyto and iso nits, all of the crap that they're pumping out right now that is lashing onto the MU receptor and is all some bastardization of the morphine molecule, right? All these bathtub versions of the morphine molecule are enslaving people at a rate we haven't seen, and that means we're going to need to put more people on the medical assisted treatment, and that probably is it's the best buzz on earth. I swear to God it is. It's the best damn buzz on earth. And that's an important one for me. Honest to God, I don't get high the way I used to, but when you get somebody that says, I do want to quit, and in 3 or 4 weeks I'll have the cash, and you go, no, 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 we're gonna do this today. That's the greatest high on earth. I've not found a better one yet. I'm still looking, but I've not found a better one yet. Brazy says, yes, I'm passionate. Hubby says, I see a difference in you. I lose for an hour, but hey, I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Tell your husband thank you for sharing. We appreciate him sharing you with us for an hour. I really do. Jimena, what a kind thing to say. Thank you so much. I really love that. It's such a nice thing to say. The Love Life Laughter Boat is just the best place to be. I love that, Israelites. Thank you. I don't have my trimmer. My mustache is getting so big that it's starting to really drive me nuts. Thank you, Shauna B. I'll tell you something, people. I feel really privileged to be able to come on here and keep talking to you guys. You know what I mean? It's I missed this, right? This is something that I laugh. I'm just going to keep it real with you. I laugh 5 times more when I work with my partner on the other channel because we clown around, right? That's the purpose of the channel. It's really kind of to get everybody to loosen up and laugh a little bit, right? That's kind of what we're driving at. But this is different. It's the same energy in the audience. It's the same love of one another. It's the same kindness of one another. But what I've done on the boat from the very first day I started doing it just feels like I don't know what word to use without offending somebody. Right? No matter what I call it, I'll offend somebody. Calling, mission, right? I don't know what you want to call it, but this is I have numerous times I get away from it, and it's just the draw to come back is unreasonable. There's no other way to put it. And I think a lot of it has to do, if we're just keeping it real, a lot of it has to do with I sat in this chair to stay sober. Really, that was the start of it. And everybody, when I started this, they said he's going to quit. So this is like they kept predicting at what point I would bail. And I think once I got off probation, everybody thought I would bail. Right, like this was the con to keep my probation officer happy. But this is a really amazing thing that we do, and the people that I've met, I love more than anybody. And Casey says, you know what, you're saving lives. I thank you. And I think we are. I really believe that. I think we are. Yeah, that's such a kind thing to say. I appreciate you guys. The kind words I love it. And this is awesome too. Tommy, yesterday my doctor mentioned my weight loss and how much happier I seemed. I told her about you and all the connections I've made. Do you love that, people? How cool is that? By the way, for everybody involved, right? If I am of the firm belief that uh, you should be happy, right? You should be happy. And there are people who are happy exactly where they're at. And I always say, enjoy that, be happy wherever you're at. The exception to that rule is if it's threatening your health, right? If it's threatening your health, well, then guess what? Time to buck up, right? I came on here and told you guys, this is what they told me. Here's how much I got to lose. I'm going to lose it. Here's what I'm going to do. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've dropped a ton of weight. Like I got down to and it's changed my quality of life, right? Like I can't explain. I don't have the episodes that were putting me in the hospital, right? That's kind of a big deal, man. That's the episodes that were putting me in the hospital were sucking really bad. And I was afraid. You know what? Here's the thing. You're not really late. The problem is that tonight I went early. And the reason I went early is when I don't do this, when I don't do this all the time, when I'm not doing 2 of these a day, it's a little more fun to not give a crap how long I go. So if I start at 7:30 around here, that gets me pretty late into the evening. And I wanted to be able to go longer without doing a really late show. All beautiful beings on board the boat. You know what? I love them all too. It really is. Now B says that's with any channel. Doesn't matter the topic. We'll always some can that can complain. The channel I mod for complains about her nails. Wow, man, that's petty as hell. Hey, Tracy Range, how are you? Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're having health issues. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers with you. It's good to see you here. I haven't been around full time either, Tracy, but it's good to see you. Frank Humphreys, glad you're here. Every time I get out, they pull me back in. Frank, well played. Horton Thistle, good to see you. Thank you, Tina Serlin. You know something? Honest to God, people, that's kind of where I I've said that before, right? But you amass a lifetime of knowledge no matter what it is you do, right? And if the knowledge that you amass, hey Shannon Smith, I'm glad you're here. If the knowledge that you amass is crappy, it's a little bit more challenging to find a way to take that and make something good of it, right? But uh, I am of the belief that you can make something good at anything, but it's something that you really have to want to do, right? You kind of want to have to get serious about that. Jimena said, I also had a visit to my nutritionist and working out and doing awesome. You beautiful people here are my inspiration and motivation. I'm so glad you're going to a nutritionist. That is the coolest thing on earth. For real. I don't know if you guys know the Dead Doctors Don't Lie series, but he went and tracked all these doctors and found that they knew a lot about medicine. They didn't know a whole lot about eating correctly, and they were dying really young. For people that knew everything about medicine, doctors were dying at a really young age, and it was a pretty fascinating study. What have I done to lose weight? I work out a lot. I really do. I work out a lot. Um, I probably work out more now. Well, I've never worked out this much in the free world. Definitely never worked out this much in the free world. I worked out this much in prison, right? Because you had a lot more time on your hands. You had a lot more to do. But Carly, here's what I did. I upped my protein, right, to unbelievable amounts. And I know that there are people who go, when you get to a certain amount, you're growing tumors and crazy. Yeah, maybe. But I'm weighing two options, and my health was really, really bad. And I had a doctor that said, you want it to get good, right? Lose 35 to 45 pounds and do it quickly. So I started to take protein supplements, the ones that I have put the links up to here. They're puffed. And I did it like cereal. I would put milk on them. That's my favorite way to do it. I would put milk on them and eat them with the milk, adding more protein. I was supplementing a hell of a lot of protein into my diet. And me personally, I find that when my body gets the things that it needs, that it doesn't go searching to eat more stuff to get more things. And I'm able to eat just one meal a day other than the protein stuff, and that I do not crave anything. But again, there's a lot of working out. And I'm not talking about pumping iron. I'm not trying to get bigger, right? And pumping iron would do exactly that. So what I'm doing is yoga, things like push-ups and squats and sit-ups and crunches and planks, right? And a gazillion of them. Because for me, it's all of that is part of a. If you tell me I got to lose weight, my first thought is not yippee, right? Woo! I'd much rather put it on, right? I'd much rather have to put on 50 pounds, right? It'd be fun to just crush food all day. But when they tell you got to lose weight, it kind of sucks, right? Yeah, Kristen Melinda says it's so good you are where you need to be, but I think we are also happy Reese reminds you to eat sometimes. You know something? She's a excellent friend that way, to be really honest. Hey, the Falcon Hood, he is not going to regret that. Oh, he got it for you. Yeah, man. That Falcon Hood, They should be kicking me back. I should be getting some cash back. The number of those puppies that I have sold, man, oh man, people. Honestly, I've gotten 100 emails at least from people that said that they bought the Falcon Hood. The Falcon Hood is heaven. It's heaven. Kestrel, glad you're here. Honest to God, it is. That's fantastic. So for the last 3 days, I haven't been able to keep anything down. Right? I don't mean today. I mean the 3 days prior to today. Everything that I ate, I vomited. And when you're vomiting, you don't eat once a day. I was trying to keep food down. I didn't want to, but I really didn't keep down squat for 3 days, and that was concerning because I don't need to lose any more weight. I'm where I want to be, and I'm not going to lie to anybody. I am on the very bottom end of your BMI. Like my BMI is, I don't have a lot of body fat. I really do not have a lot of body fat, but that's kind of part of the gig here. Lori Hart says, yeah, because of the boat, I went to a doctor. I got on meds. Because of the meds, I started walking. And now, for the first time in years, I can see my feet when I'm standing because connection. Man, is that cool. Man, is that cool. I am so happy, right? Getting up and moving around will change your life. I'm telling you, it's a package deal, right? Spiritual, physical, emotional. I promise, man. Pull the whole package together and watch what happens, man. For real. I'm a wreck. That's a great comment. Becky Lynn, thank you. Izzy, that's a heavy ass comment. I'm sorry, it really is. Thank you. Amazingly, it's not even really what I set out to do. Honest to God, it's not at all what I set out to do. I had no intention of ever going live. My partner at the time, Mark Wages, said to me, Captain Mark Wages, forever Captain Mark Wages, said, they're going to freak out the first time we go live. He said, I promise you, man, this needs to be live. And I didn't see it. And the day we went live the first time, I'm not joking. I remember it so well. The audience was like, this is a live channel. We had been voting on everything. I let everybody vote for the name of the channel. Like we voted on everything and there was no vote. They just said, nah, man, this is a live channel. And I don't think we've shot a video since. Jamie Palmer says, I was getting overwhelmed back before I really started getting into this community. I lurked for a long time in most channels before I started to talk. I'm glad I'm better at chatting here. You know what? It's not easy, is it? Honestly. But this is the way to start because there's just not the pressure of, right? Hey, I staring at you, people looking at you. Yeah. That's tough in the beginning, huh? Yeah. Absolutely. Great comment. Great comment. Please. I am the biggest proponent on planet Earth, right? I am the biggest proponent on planet Earth of checking with your doctor. Sorry. Um, yeah, talk to your doctor before you do anything. Feel me? Before you do anything. If you're going to quit, if you have the capacity to talk to a doctor before you quit, they're going to make your life better. Oh, you know what? At the very end of last night's show, I was talking about Suboxone, I was talking about other things, and somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they wrote, I can get off this without pain. I don't know if I believe you. And I wrote, yeah, you can get off this without pain. Reach out. And I don't think they saw it because I think they were already gone. But I absolutely 100% I'm telling you, you don't have to get sick. And I understand that that's the biggest fear. I understand it better than anybody. I promise. I did it longer. I did more, right? I robbed banks to get dope. I bought it in kilos and did it. I mean, I had a problem, man. I really had a problem. But yeah, you can quit without pain. I promise you can. But you got to work with a professional. You're not going to cold turkey it without pain. As you know, we're writing a book. And we were writing about um, Johnny's been working on a particular chapter that deals a lot with some times in our life when we were trying to kick and reliving that, and reading it and giving him notes on it and stuff has been it's been ridiculous. Honestly, it's been really hard, but it reminds you just of how bad it is. I lost 13 stone in 24 hours. I threw out the controlling boyfriend. Love it. I'm trying to remember what a stone is. Is it 12 pounds? What is a stone? All I know is that the boxer Barry McGuigan, swinging Barry McGuigan, he would always they would say coming in at 7 stone, and I don't remember. It would always cracked me up. Grief was killing me. Separation was killing me. Being here with you guys saved me. I feel stronger and more stable than I have in years. Thank you all. Lori Hart, I love that. Love you, love you, love you. Yeah, you know something? I'm getting a dose of it. And I didn't come on for this one tonight. That really wasn't this wasn't a tell me how much you love the Lifeboat show. But you know what? I dig it. I really do. I dig it. I really do. I dig it. And I'm working on it. I promise you I am, you know. Uh, thank you, Cricket. Thank you. She says we're encouraging her to reach out to you. Um, Uh, yeah, I'm digging it. I'm always amazed, Tommy, at your knowledge about this all sorts of drugs. It's been very helpful on me getting off the drugs I've been dependent on. So thankful. Wow, how cool. Yeah, you know what? I spent even when I was in the life, it's 14 pounds. Thank you. Stone is 14 pounds. Even when I was in the life, um, I didn't want to do crap I didn't understand. For real. Like I'm gonna put this stuff in a spoon and then stick it in my arm. Like literally, I'm gonna open a vein and I'm gonna dump this into it. I don't take that crap lightly. You know what I mean? The number of people. So even when I was in the life, I was studying the dope I was doing. When the internet first started, that's the only thing I ever used it for real. There were some message boards. Remember that concept? There were message boards back in the day that were just drug forums. And I was still an active junkie, but you would go there and speak with other active junkies. And I'll tell you something, that was really a very odd time because you would go there and say, I'd go there and say, I'm on federal probation, right? This was on after the bank robberies. I went on and said, I'm on federal probation. I got drug tests I got to take. How do you beat a drug test, right? Help me. And it was amazing because there's 150 products out there on the market that will help you beat a drug test. And every single person went, you ain't going to beat it. You're screwed. There was nobody said, oh, yeah, I'll tell you how to do it. I mean, guys that were not in the know would say, drink a ton of water. But if you do that, you go in and they test for the specific gravity, right? If there's not enough solids in your urine, they just fail you. But all of these things that were not good, not good information, bad information, right? But a bunch of people sharing bad information, and I learned a lot of crap there. You know what I mean? I learned the first time I ever heard of a drug, and I don't know whether or not I ought to say the name of the drug. Yeah. All right. There's a drug out there that you can. It's a synthetic. It's a synthetic takeoff on the morphine molecule. And it was originally designed as another drug that they could give to women in childbirth because there are people that cannot take um, opiates, right? They can't take a natural opiate. So there needs to be some synthetics that are far enough away that women can take it. And this happens to be really different than the average. It's actually probably closer to Suboxone, like an agonist antagonist, than it is an actual, like an analgesic kind of a painkiller. But uh, you could buy this stuff and it comes in a liquid vial. And what was amazing about it was you could do it for really long periods of time without getting strung out. Like it took, on tar, I could catch a habit in 4 days, right? With this stuff, it would take 3 or 4 weeks. And I kind of thought it was a miracle thing for a while, but I found out about it on this site. I found out where I could get it on this site. And it was very unhealthy. But I did study the hell out of every drug out there. I promise you. Uh, Tommy, the longer I watched, the more connected I felt, and that gave me the courage to speak. Now I'm not going anywhere. I'll be in the lives or in the replay crew, no matter what. I love that, Jamie. I really do. Shannon C says, I'm in a pain clinic, Tommy, and I'm trying to cut down. It's been so hard on my body and how much pain I'm in without it. And they want me to stay on a low dose. I'm scared I'll get addicted. Oh, let me tell you something. Throw that crap out of your mind right now. Right? Throw it out of your mind right now. Because here's the deal, right? And I'm sure I'm going to step on a lot more, what's with this comment, but I don't care. You got an option sometimes, Shannon C, right? Let's say you have a propensity to drug addiction. Let's say you have the gene for drug addiction, right? If you treat pain, you're going to become addicted to it. It's going to happen. But the other option is what? Right? Being addicted to pain? I'm not sure that's a better trade-off. There's a reason you have an MU receptor in your body, whether you believe in God or the universe or Isadora Duncan, magic mushrooms, whatever you believe got us here, right? Yoda. They put an MU receptor in our body so we had the ability to treat pain when it gets so bad that we need to treat pain. So it's kind of important that if you're in pain, you can't feel like you're a jackass for taking a pain medication. But unfortunately, we have a society that's telling people that, don't we? Shannon C, if the option is to be in excruciating pain, and I'm guessing that's probably the case because if you're at a pain specialty clinic, that's usually the case. If the option is excruciating pain or a dependence on an opiate, they're going to give you the opiate. Get dependent on the opiate. I'm sorry, but that's the better option. I know nobody likes hearing that, but if it were me and I had chronic pain, well, I'm a terrible example. I really am, but I'm not the average either, right? There are people who are addicts who are still able to go into to pain management, right? They just have to do it with help from others. If you're taking it the way that they prescribe it, I don't think you have a problem. I've never met a junkie that can take a bottle of pain pills and do exactly what it said on the label. I've never met that person. Maybe they exist, but I've never met one. Now, doesn't mean they're not dependent. It just means that they ain't a dope fiend. That's what it means. Now you can talk to your granddaughters about the drugs. You know something? I was going to circle back around to that. So I'll do that. This is a subject that I kind of want to talk about. But it does run in my family. Alcoholism is. I don't want to live on it for the rest of my life, but I have to try to not think about that. Shannon C, you have to ask your doctor, am I going to have this pain for the rest of my life? Right? If that's the case, I would start looking into every single other kind of alternative treatment you can do. And pain specialty clinics will help you do that because I've done it. I've been to a grip of them. Trigger point injections are great. They're not pleasant, right? But they're great. It's Novocaine, and they very thin needle, as thin as Japanese stuff with a bunch of pins. Acupuncture. It's as thin as an acupuncture needle. But they go in like railroad tracks for a spine. They would go in and shoot like this, and they would go all the way down, and they're numbing you. The Novocaine lasts about 8 hours. If the next time you go in, it lasts 9 hours, then you're a candidate for trigger point because your body is giving you relief longer than the drug itself lasts. And the more you do it, I did this, and I would get to a point where I could get trigger point injections once a week. And it was actually super, super effective. Also, there's TEMS machines where you do electric stimulus, stimulus, and it kind of pulses the muscles. That's also super super effective. But talk to your doc and say tell them acupuncture is also. I have done every alternative type of pain treatment you can do because now I can't take an opiate. See, but I know who I am. right? I'm not the average dude. And if you give me something to treat pain, I'm going to break off my leash and I'm going to spin around like the Tasmanian devil. And the next thing you know, I'm robbing banks. And I'm not being funny or making light of it, but that's honestly what happens. I will continue to do dope until somebody puts friggin' handcuffs on me. As an oncology nurse, the hardest thing to get patients to understand is the difference between dependency and addiction. Cooler by the lake, my God in heaven. Do you know that when people say to me, I can't believe what you do, like you got to have the hardest gig going, I would never be able to do what you do, I always say, can you imagine working in an oncology ward? Right? That would be the hardest thing in the world, what I do. But I am so impressed at people who can do that. It takes a type of angel. I'm not being funny. It really does. To to go into that kind of environment every day and bring hope and keep a smile on your face is something that is absolutely phenomenal. And my hat's off to you. Much love. I've been getting trigger point and ablation. They're becoming ineffective, and I'm afraid I'm going to be stuck. I've never been addicted to a substance, but I know it's a real possibility. It is. It is. It's a real possibility. But if I had to be addicted to pain or to an opiate, it would be a very easy choice for me. I don't like pain. Never been a fan of it, right? If I had the opportunity, right, to treat my pain with an opiate, I would do that. But I don't have that. That's not an option for me. But again, I'm not even normal among addicts, right? I really am way over the top. I'm not normal. I've really had some issues with the morphine molecule, and depending on how you look at it, we either really got along really, really well, or we just could not get along at all. I guess it depends on how you look at it, but we had a hell of a relationship for a really long time. And now I tough it out. I'm not joking. I tough it out. And I haven't got my arm fixed because I just, I'm not going to take pain meds. It's not really an option. So coming out of surgery, I know that there are some things that they can do, and I'm looking into some of them, but yeah, I can't, I am, the best word's probably allergic. I mean, to be real, you're right. Normal is always relative. I always do the normal because I've never met anybody normal. It's one of those things that I say. What you eat makes a difference. Sugar is bad for inflammation and chronic pain. And you know something? It's astounding how often you will go to a pain specialist who doesn't do anything about inflammation. I'm not kidding. They become dope dealers, and if they're not talking to you about inflammation, I would find a different clinic. Lori Hart says, I have chronic pain, but it's not always severe. If it gets severe, I take meds. Life is more than crying and pain. Damn right. Shannon Smith says, you so remind me of my sister when it comes to addiction, and I'm sorry for that. Yeah. I guess the good news is that I'm not in the dark. You know what I mean? I'm pretty hip to who and what I am at this point. Pretty self-aware, I think, at this point. I do have a medical marijuana, and it's a bit effective. Good. I'm having trouble finding a strain that won't make me feel high or extremely tired. I have an autistic kid to care for, so it gets complicated. Well, I mean, you just kind of described both strains, right? Usually the sativa buzz is more of a heady thing and it keeps you thinking, where the indica buzz people tend to describe as more of a like debilitating buzz. It's more go to sleep kind of stuff. But believe it or not, sometimes when you go into dispensaries, the bud tenders, those people that talk to you in dispensaries, sometimes those people are wildly educated about the products, and it's worthy of talking to them and asking them the questions because they're really well versed in weed. I go in there and talk to them to ask questions. I mean, I'll go in and just be straight with them. I'm like, I'm going to buy some gummies. I'm not buying flour. I'm not buying anything, but I got a crap load of questions. And I tell them what I do. And they're usually very cool about it because when I say I run a sobriety channel, and they look at me, you know, with that. So you realize weed's not a drug look. And by the way, I don't believe that. I really don't, you know? Um, there are people that argue this. Weed's a drug. It's a strong drug, and it's a drug that can be super dangerous for some people. Really can. I mean, there are people that will play video games until they're 70, right? For real, in grandma's basement, then mom's basement, whatever the case is. And it's the biggest risk with weed that I see is that a lot of pot smokers dream incredible dreams and do absolutely nothing. An option, my pain management kept upping me to over 200 myself of opiates. They were about to put me on fentanyl. I said, no, now all I do is pot. Oh, if that helps, that's fantastic. I do want to tell you this, right? And this goes out to everybody too. To compare the stuff that's on the street that they call fentanyl to the stuff that they're giving you that comes from a doctor that's called fentanyl, there have almost no similarity. I mean, in all honesty, there's such a huge difference between that bathtub crap that they're making on the street and the stuff that they give you, um, from doctors. Alpha fentanyl, which is what the pharmaceutical stuff is. It is a much better drug. Shannon Smith says it's amazing the pain clinics don't give Toradol, and that works for me. I'll tell you what, mine did, and they gave it to me in injections. Now, I think that a Toradol injection works for me, and part of it is just the needle breaking my skin does enough mental, like it's my brain goes, oh, we got a shot, and I know a lot of that is my brain, but I know how powerful that is. I know how powerful that is, and Toradol also is excellent as an anti-inflammatory. I'm not a doctor, but that's a great drug. It really is. Kim Roy says, for my chronic pain, the opioids didn't relieve the pain. Just made me not care about it. Had to give them up so I could live life instead of a bump in a recliner. Kim, nerve pain? I'm not sure what I'd be curious to know what kind of pain. Oh, I would say I have a dependency on pain meds, but the pain has previously been bad enough for Mr. to not. Oh, yeah. LEJ, it's dependency on pain meds ain't the end of the world. I know I piss people off with this, but the number of people who reach out to me who want to quit, and I go, why do you want to quit? And they can't answer the question, right? There's something wrong with that. If you're trying to quit because society tells you you should, tell society to shut up, right? It's your pain. You're the one that has to deal with the pain. You don't have to deal with any BS from anybody. Hey, Bunny C, I'm sorry. That's the way it goes. Yeah, the burn. Do you love it, Shannon Smith? For me, that burn's important. I'm sorry. Yes, I know. I knew you meant milligrams. Do. Sorry. Here's the thing with me. For me, the painkiller took away spiritual and emotional pain as well as physical pain. And that was the danger, right? It wasn't as important that I was treating my physical pain. What was important for me was I was taking away the feeling that I was a piece of crap. And I was taking away the feeling that that just I was so uncomfortable in my own skin. It's the only way I can describe it. It felt like my skeletal system at all times just wanted to tear out and sprint away and leave what was left in a pile of crap on the floor. That to me was my default setting. That's how I felt at all times until that shot, right, or that hit, or that snort, or whatever. Had to be an opiate. It would wipe that slate clean of everything. And at first, I thought, greatest thing ever, right? Tommy, why does your brain like a shot and my brain scares me to death? I won't even watch a movie where there are needles. It's my biggest fear. Well, I was that person too. Kind of a fascinating thing happens, right? And this happens, by the way, to a lot of people in the very same way that it happened to me. Dosa Rose, good to see you. What happens is you buy the drug by the 10th, right? It's called a point. 10 points is a gram. and they usually run about 10 bucks a piece. In some cities, they're 15. And if you buy $100 worth, they throw about 5 extras in, and that's usually how it works. But you start snorting it, and $100 worth will last you 2 weeks. But within 2 months, you're snorting $100 a day. And that starts getting a little bit scary. So then you start to make changes. And one of them is people say, if you smoke that, you'll have to do a lot less. Really? Yeah. If you smoke it, it hits you way harder. So now you start smoking it. And for a while, same thing, right? Now I'm spending 30 a day and I'm getting twice the buzz for a while. But then I got to a place where I'm smoking about every 40 minutes and I just cannot seem to stop. And if I just smoke, then I was spending over $1,000 a day. And that seemed ridiculous. And somebody said to me, "Hey man, if you can take the spike, that little thing that you're throwing on for each hit, one of those would last you 8 hours." I said, "There was no way in hell that's the truth." And he said, "Roll up your sleeve." And I was more afraid of feeling sick and not having enough money to continue buying that drug than I was the needle. And I couldn't watch the person inject me. I could not watch the needle break my skin. There's no way I could look at it. The whole concept would make my knees weak. Fast forward a year, right? And I'm driving down the street with my knees, right? Holding my arm out, banging myself, right? And driving with my knees on the way to work at like 8 a.m. And that became standard operating procedure. What happens is everything about you changes. Everything. So I'm no longer afraid of needles because it was a necessity that I not be afraid of needles. God got in the way of me getting high, so religion had to go, right? Family got in the way of me getting high, so family had to go. That was just the way it is. And anything else that got in the way of me getting high or wanted me to stop getting high or any such bullshit had to get out of my life. And it was that simple. So you start to engineer your life in such a way that the only people you talk to are addicts and dealers, fences, people who break the law, people that buy stolen stuff, people that sell stolen stuff. I mean, everybody I knew was a criminal. Sadly, everybody I knew was a criminal. Cherry Cola, 2 knee surgeries, and total knee surgeries, I think, right? You had replacements. That is hard. It is really, really hard. Lady Spellbreaker says, "Now anyone who creates drama and interferes with my peace and recovery has to go." Nailed it. Nailed it. If somebody is messing with my serenity, they're gone. Because if you mess with my serenity, nothing good happens. Right? That's it. Nothing good happens. When my serenity starts going screwy, the kind of things that happen with me ain't good. So I'm not sticking around for any of that crap. In the 80s, I saw nice college girls get lost smoking H. I I cannot begin to tell you the number of people whose lives I have watched go from fantastic to destroyed to dead, and often within a year and a half, 2 years. The real crazy thing was the people that made it. The people that 5 years later you'd still be doing dope with. You realize that, yeah, they're probably not going anywhere. But there was always a steady influx of people that came in, didn't get it, shot alone. I mean, it was just a constant thing. It was absolutely awful. Chris and Melinda, I'm so glad you didn't try it. I am so glad you didn't try it. But by way of full disclosure, the stuff in the 80s and 90s that was really gaining popularity was the really pure stuff coming in from Mexico and Afghanistan that they were not refining. It was coming in the tar form, and a lot harder to cut, right? And people started to. I went home from school one year to avoid booster shots. Oh, the journey life takes you on. Um, Yeah, that's actually funny as hell, isn't it? And we really do seem to change up uh pretty quickly, right? But that tar stuff that was getting so popular. The one thing that I will say is, for a lot of people, the taste of it was more than they could handle. So I also used to do a lot of the powdered crap because that's what was on the East Coast. But then as I started going west, that stuff was gone. But it was super easy for people to try the powder. But that first, like that gagging taste, most people really can't stand the taste of it. So when they go to smoke it, when it first hits the mouth and lungs, they're like, ah, they cough out. And for most people, they're like, I'm not going to do that again, honestly. And it just tells you what a sick world it is. But I kid you not, the very first time I did it, I thought, boy, there's just nothing on earth that tastes that good. I thought, how does anybody not like the taste of this? It's just how incredible the mind is, right? It really is an incredible thing. The cast that was supposed to be on for 4 weeks has now been on for 8. That is making me crazy. So I walked twice today and I whined a lot. It helped. Good. You know something? Every once in a while, a little whining is not such a bad thing. It's like my ranting. Tommy, I'm learning to say no or just leave without explaining why I'm cutting people out of my life. I don't owe them an explanation. More importantly, they wouldn't care if they did it at all. Yeah, you know something? I'm super good at it. Uh, and I do not crap on. I mean, I don't make a point of telling somebody. It's like we always say, right? This ain't an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. You want to go, go. Right? That's how I do it. I'll just walk away. I'll just walk away. Uh, Mara says, I tried most drugs in the 80s, but I said I'd never do H. And then my doctor put me on it. Oxy. Yeah. Well, I was addicted to Oxy long before I was addicted to heroin. Heroin was just a cheaper alternative because I couldn't afford Oxy. You missed the Tommy rants? Yeah, there's a couple of really good ones coming up, people. Hey, Spanx Calhoun. There are going to be some really good rants coming up, and I'll tell you why. Because we're going to talk about, right? We're going to talk about uh, some stuff that I'm sure is going to piss people off. But there are some subjects that are coming up that we need to talk about because in the upcoming election, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. You may not believe that. I don't care. But if you're a Democrat, you need to hold the Democrats' feet to the fire so that they fix our border. If you're a Republican, you need to hold their feet to the fire, right? So they fix our border. I don't care who you vote for, but the people you decide to vote for, they better have a plan because we're really getting hosed. The number one cause of death in our country is overdose of drugs. You're more likely to die from a fentanyl or a nitazene overdose than you are to die in a car wreck or cancer or anything else. That's effed up. Bad, right? Bad. Super, super bad. If you think about it, that should never be the case, right? Wow. What am I looking at? I'm looking at Messenger and I'm not seeing anything. So, those people that want me to look at Messenger, let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure what's on Messenger, people. I'm not very bright, but I don't see anything on Messenger. But I will read it, Brazy. If you got something there, but I didn't see anything from you. Maybe it's coming over slow. It is effed up. It is so effed up. It really is, people. And I'll tell you something right now. Spanx didn't messenger me either. He's doing okay. Spanky, is something ailing you? I know he's watching. My kid's super good at calling me. He usually will call me while I'm live. He doesn't care. Spanx is doing good. Spanx is doing good. I was talking to him. I probably spent an hour or two on the phone with him today. An hour. We talked a bunch. In the last couple of days, we've been talking a lot. Lisa Black, God bless you, man. That's what everybody should. That's where everybody should be. Now I'm gonna finish my rant by telling you this. My daughter, um, my daughter filmed a show with me here a while back, and I didn't show her face, but because I don't want anybody, the trolls and whatnot. Uh, but you could hear her voice, and I said, "Tell me what they told you in school about Fent, especially vis-a-vis these fake perk 30s, all the pills that are in circulation." She said, "Dad, the only person that has ever mentioned anything about those pills ever is you. Never heard it in school, not a word." She said, "In fact, I didn't hear the word fentanyl until you told me." My daughter graduated 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, from high school. That's a problem. Today, I had a conversation with Hux about fent, about pills, about the fact that you cannot ever take a pill out of a pill bottle unless it has your name on it. You got it from a pharmacist who handed it to you, right? And that pill bottle has been in your control the entire time, because now the stuff that's out there is so damn dangerous. We can't play these games anymore, man. We can't. And I said, I'm 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 sure that they talk to you about this crap in school, and I'm not trying to, He said, "No, nope, not happening." Oh, Shannon Smith, there have been 38 pills found just at the border crossing in coming in from Arizona at the Nogales border station. They have there 38 different pills that they have busted coming in, including fake Tylenol, Xanax bars, a lot of stuff that's over the counter, right? They're mocking up over the counter stuff, so that, not so that they can get it into a store, just so that they can smuggle it. But that starts getting scary. There were busts last year or the year before, I don't remember which one, of Skittles, right? Boxes of Skittles. They're not going to give them to kids. Sadly, that's what the crazy press started saying. They're doing this to target kids. No, we don't need to lie to make it worse. We really don't. They're not doing that to target kids. They're doing it because it's a much easier way to get through an airport, right? You got 20 bags of Skittles in your bag, probably not such a big deal. It had nothing to do with any of that, right? It's Nat B says they don't talk about it here either, Tommy. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Arizona is the number one point of entry for fent. Currently, it is. It's a fact. Currently, that is a fact. Sadly, currently that's a fact. But um, there's nobody left in this country that doesn't know somebody that overdosed. There's nobody whose life hasn't been touched by this. If you don't know someone that overdosed, you know a family that lost somebody, or it's touched every single friggin' life at this point, right? Shannon Smith says they're also making them here. This guy in Orlando killed his pregnant girlfriend and then moved to a college town and killed kids there too. Yeah. And I will tell you this, right? Here's what's happening. Here is what's happening. We're doing what we do because this is what we do. And I talked about this in so many shows. If you've been around a long time, the United States of America does not do anything correctly. They react with knee-jerk reactions every single time. We go far beyond. We do not think of what we're doing. We just go, "Oh man, this fentanyl stuff's awful," right? We got to pass a law that if you sell a pill to someone and it kills them, that you do life in prison. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Here's the problem. They're not getting the people that are selling this stuff, right? That's not what's happening. They're getting friends. I go out with my friend, Jack, and the two of us go and pick up dope, and we go home. And in the morning, Jack's dead, right? I didn't deal dope to the dude. Right? I just went to my connection and got him a bag. I'm not a dealer. I will be in the eyes of the court. The number of people who are going to end up in prison who don't need to be in prison, they're not drug dealers. They didn't make these pills. But this is the kind they're dumb, right? It's knee-jerk reactions. They want to be able to say to the constituents, they want to be able to say to the voters, "Hey, we're doing stuff. Look at the laws we passed," right? Anybody that's selling this stuff's going to go to prison for the rest of their life. Every single one of those can be a murder, right? If they sell a pill to kill someone, it's premeditated murder. You're not getting the dude that made those. Ain't no way in hell you're getting the dude that made those. Even if you're able to track this back, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get some dude who worked as a mule to get this stuff across the border in hopes of having a better life because where he lives sucks. And I'm not busting anybody's I'm sure no one wants to hear that, but if I lived in that country, I'm sure that I would have been doing the exact same thing. It's not doesn't make me a good person. I'm not a good person, right? I'm not, but that's what I would have been doing. Just a stone cold fact. Had a marijuana gummy with my sister and had a bad reaction, vomiting and sweating for hours. Felt really dumb. Little flower, don't do it again. Shannon Smith says this guy had pill presses and all the components. Yeah, you can buy those pill presses at Amazon, sadly. You can even buy the dyes to make Perk 30s. They will sell you the dye that has M30 on it. What would they need to sell that for? Unbelievable. Little flower, I wasn't being a wise guy. I say that because that's not a normal reaction to a gummy, right? Really isn't. Vomiting is and sweating are really odd ways to react to THC. THC is usually an anti-regurgitant. It keeps people from throwing up more often than not. It's one of the reasons that it gained a lot of popularity with people that were doing chemo and radiation because it cuts down on the throwing up and it gives you an appetite, right? So it's a double whammy. You stop losing weight and you might even be able to maintain. So that was one of the reasons that they really wanted to make the stuff legal, at least for medical reasons, right? So there's a thing that people get, CHS. Never going to be able to tell you what it stands for. Cannabis hypermemsia syndrome, and I know a lot of people that have it. I swear to you, I said a couple of years ago, I thought it was a myth. I can't tell you the number of people I've met that had it, including a relative of mine. And if you let that THC start building up in your system, you're really going to be miserable. You may just have saved yourself a lot of BS because if that happened on the first try, you're a lucky person. A lot of people don't get that until they're deeper into it. It's kind of a frightening thing. Lady Spellbreaker says, I have to be my daughter's voice and speak up about all this nonsense, and I'm keeping and keep going to make her proud of me, keep her memory and spirit alive, to bring healing to this nation for trauma and addiction. You know what? That's when I met Lady Spellbreaker. We met when that was going on. Her baby was stolen by the scrap. That's how we met. It's sadly, that's how we met. But it's pretty ugly. What? Yeah. Why would they sell that? Right? Why, in the name of God, would they sell that? Yeah, it's not a normal reaction to THC. It was from the mail. Oh my God! Please don't. Yeah. So I've heard about this stuff recently, right? This mail order weed thing is starting to. So you can order these gummies or these things and have them sent directly to your house. Mara says, I wonder what the addiction and drug use is like in China where this stuff comes from. Don't kid yourself, right? Now, make no mistake. Make no mistake, right? There are drug addicts everywhere. I'm not telling you that they don't have drug addicts. Oh, you've used dispensary gummies? I hope that you're not developing CHS. It could just be a bad batch, but man, I'd be careful. I'd be nervous. Send me a picture. Email me a picture of the product, and if you can take a picture of the writing on the back of it, I'd be curious to know what the stuff is. Because of the number of people that I talk to, I just like to kind of keep a database of weird crap like this, so that if it happens 3 or 4 times, we can do a show on it. You know what I mean? Because that's awful. Don't take stuff from strangers without paperwork. Trust very few these days, please. This is solid advice. This is solid advice. Ellie J, sleep well. They are investigating the Postal Service and Matthew Perry's death. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Because uh, he was getting a Schedule 2 narcotic in the mail. And that's an issue. That is an issue because Schedule 2 narcotics are not supposed to be mailed out that way. Ellie J tossing out lifeboat memberships like hot sauce packets. Stole that one from Quibs, but I really dig that. Thank you, Ellie J. God bless. I mean it. Thank you. It's really going to a damn good cause. In fact, we've been talking about it all night. This is our private war because they're not going to do crap about it. I'm sorry, they're not. If either party shuts down the border, it'll give the other party a victory, right? They're not willing to give a victory to anybody. And they will let our kids, our parents, our brothers and sisters, they will let our friends die at 300 a day because they don't want to give the other side a victory. My cousin and her cousin do drugs together all the time. Her cousin overdosed and passed away last night. Mandy, I am so freaking sorry. Ellie J, thank you again. I don't think you know what that means to me. For real. Thank you, Ellie J. Mandy, I'm so sorry. Good night, Brazy. Love you. Love you. And then Mandy says, my family is wondering if this is going to be her wake-up call, but I worry it's going to make it worse for her. I can't begin to tell you how many people I knew who overdosed and died on dope, and it did nothing to slow me down. I shot up before their funerals, right? And I shot up after their funerals. It's pretty messed up, right? It really is. But there are people for whom an overdose will change their lives. Idaho Carol, ones mean whatever you do. Let's say somebody in your family got really sick. Some people pray. Some people send positive thoughts. Some people just think, hope they get better. Whatever you do, that's what the one represents. So there are people who are saying, you know what, I'll say a prayer for your family. And there are people who say, I don't pray, but you know what, I'm here for you, whatever. Again, what's lovely is we don't have the jackasses who go, praying stupid, right? Mean people suck. I'll bounce your ass out of here. I don't care which side of that you come down on. We're not going to argue about religion. It's not that place. But this is nice. Instead of saying, I'm going to say a prayer for you, which guaranteed is going to piss somebody off, we do ones, and the one can be anything. It's thoughts, it's prayers, it's whatever makes you happy, right? It is illegal to mail THC. Tina Serlin says no one ever thinks it will happen to them. What's crazy is that's always been the way it is. Tina Serlin's right. This is the way it's been since the dawn of time, since the first person got high with opiates. Every single one of them has thought, I'm not going to overdose on this. There's no chance. This is the first time in my life where I'm talking to people on a daily basis, right? Who say, oh, it's going to kill me. I know it is. I know it is. I'm doing everything I can to make sure it doesn't happen, but I know it's going to kill me. And I mean, the number of people who I've lost personally, and I don't mean when I was using, these are people I met sober, right? Who I was trying to help. It's the most painful thing in the world, Mandy. It's so hard. It really is. And I'm sorry. Christian B says, Mandy, Albert, my cousin overdosed. I got worse for a while. I hope your cousin can find the support they need. I'll tell you what, I'm not trying to sound cool. I promise you I'm not. All right. But our accounts ain't dry, Mandy. Let's try to get your friend here. This is what you tell your friend. They don't have to get sick to get off this crap. Tell your cousin that, right? Your relative that. You don't have to get sick to get clean, because people don't stay on it because they want to stay on it. They stay on it because they don't want to get sick. and I pissed 30 years away because I didn't know I could get off it without getting sick. For real. Mara says, I see ads all the time on the net saying you can get any controlled drugs from Mexico through the mail. Is this going on and how? Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. It's going on every day. The general rule of thumb is if you're bringing in less than a 3-month supply, they just don't have time to F with it. They just don't. So if you're bringing in, if the drug you're bringing in is a pharmaceutical and, you're buying pain meds or whatever, you're bringing in less than a 3-month supply, they don't assume you're a drug dealer. They assume you're probably trying to treat pain. It's pretty uncool, but it's a thing. Now, I will say this. You're not going to get them cheap enough to justify. People go to the streets. I don't think there's a lot of people out there who are using that as a way to supply their habit unless they're filthy, filthy freaking rich, right? Because you're probably paying literally dollars per pill, right? And that's a hard thing to do if you're buying stuff through the mail. It's just hard to keep up with that kind of a habit. I've had 2 experiences with people battling addiction. I don't know what kind of drugs, but I saw a woman yelling and wailing on a guy in the street. It was startling. Yeah, there are places you can go to in this country that I could take you, and you would not believe you were in the United States of America. You saw these streets. There's no way you would believe that you were in our country. Andy Paul, good to see you. Because there are guys bent over at the waist, standing like zombies, right? Because they're on trink. They're doing that trink dope, which is a mixture of a really strong benzo-like drug that's made for horses called xylazine, mixed with whatever really ripping synthetic benzo they can make cheap. Sometimes, the analogs of fentanyl, and sometimes, the nits, which are even stronger. But bathtub dope and horse tranquilizer. What could go wrong? Right? Shannon C says, I get Delta 8 gummies through the mail and looked up the company. It works really well for me. I even asked my dispensary about it. I do a low dose gummy to help me sleep at night. Good. If it's working for you, fantastic. I do not pick on anybody eating a gummy at night. It would be pretty hypocritical since I eat one every night myself. It stopped my nightmares, the nightmares that plagued me for years. And I'm talking about PTSD nightmares that are effing horrible. If you've never watched the show that I did called I Watched Somebody Die and I Didn't Do Anything About It, go watch that. It's I don't remember how far back you gotta go, but that's the name of the show. And that's the nightmare that I lived over and over and over again. And I tried every single damn medication on earth. None of them worked. And the reason I didn't take weed gummies as a way to try to treat this, all of you, I'm not joking. For the same reason that people don't want to, the amount of time I spent not caring about living, the biggest waste of my life. You and me both, right? Yeah, Frank Humphreys, Jerry had an incredible run using with diabetes. He did go into a diabetic coma in the 80s. That was kind of rough, and died a lot younger than he should have, right? But yeah, he had a good run. My sister was part of the original Suboxone trials at Mass Gen. I think the pressure in AA said that's not sober. Yep, hear this all the time. That's not sober. You're not really sober if you're using medical assisted treatment because you need to hurt, right? F you, junkie. You need to hurt. We're not letting you get off that easy. Next thing you know, you're going to start calling this crap a disease, right? Why don't we just let you off the hook completely? No, man, you need to suffer. So we're not going to let you call that sober, damn it. Right? It's the same thing. That's what they'll say. Oh, you just traded one thing for another. Right? Yeah. I traded sitting in parking lots, right? Waiting on someone to drop an illegal substance that could land me in prison just for buying it. For something that I take once in the morning and forget about it. Well, that's a hell of a trade. I'm sorry, that's a hell of a trade. Get off the crap on the street and get on Suboxone. I promise you, it's a much better move. And take all the time you want trying to step down off of that. That way you ain't got to hurt. Have it take a year. Have it take 5. You're not going to go through any of the crap you've been going through. Your addiction days are over. I promise you. And if you are a opiate addict, I got news for you. Suboxone will make it so that you do not feel sick, guaranteed, and it will not get you high. You ain't gonna feel zip. Hear me? You ain't gonna catch a buzz. So if you're hoping that, oh, cool, man, I can take this stuff and keep getting high, and no one's gonna, not doesn't work like that. This stuff doesn't get you high. I promise you, it doesn't. Sorry. Question, Tommy. What do you think when people say California sober? When I hear people say California sober, what that usually means is that whatever they quit, right? So let's say your drug of choice was cocaine, and you say I'm sober because you have never done coke again. However, you drink beer and you smoke weed. Right. Now, here's the deal. I'm not going to say that that person's not sober. I don't know their life. Honestly, I don't know how much weed they're using. I don't know how much booze they're using. Um, I had a mojito 2 days ago. I had a rum drink. I had one of them, but it was a coconut mojito. I said, look, I don't have a problem with alcohol. I know that there are people that hate that, but I don't have a problem with alcohol. Never have. I don't like the buzz. I like the taste of it, but I do not like the buzz at all. Right. That's not something I would have a problem, but I could have a problem with weed. I promise you. I promise you I could. Guaranteed I could get a problem with weed. Is that like a California stop at a stop sign? Yeah, kind of a rolling stop. You get the idea. You get the idea. It's really it's kind of funny. Oh my God. And from Massachusetts told his doctors wouldn't give him pain meds because he told them he had alcohol issues. So he ended up taking massive doses of over the counter painkillers. Awful, awful. Over the counter painkillers aren't painkillers, right? They're not. They're anti-inflammatories, right? They're which helps, right? When you start getting rid of inflammation, pain goes away. That's a real thing, right? But that's not a painkiller, right? If you're in real pain, like you break your thigh, let me know how that ibuprofen works out with a broken femur, right? Yeah, Shannon Smith, it will destroy your liver. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are hell on your liver, and they're 5 times heller on your liver if you're drinking. If you are mixing alcohol in any NSAID, ibuprofen, that's that other one called. I'll leave whatever. Right? All of those damn things, they will destroy your liver. Flaming Jackson, I love you. I'm glad you're here. Here is one of the realities, though, right? One of the realities is most pain medication, low grade pain medication, has a crap load of a anti-inflammatory built into them, right? So naproxen, there you go. Ibuprofen, well done. So let's say for a chance, so, hold on one second. Tommy, the second time I saw something, I saw it through their window, and I just so happened to be outside a few days later. They brought out someone who OD'd in the house, man. You had to stop smoking weed to get through engineering school. I'll tell you what, I stopped smoking weed when I became a public speaker. I continued to do drugs, right? But the problem was, I did heroin every day. But if I did weed, I blew off. I forgot to do all kinds of things a lot, right? I forgot to go to meetings. I blew off. The amount of crap that I did not take care of became an issue. Like it really became an issue. And as a speaker, I was going to get fired if I continued to smoke weed. Like that was absolutely going to cost me my job. So I quit. But so if you're taking Loratab, or you're taking Norcos, or you're taking Vicodin, right? Hydrocodone, sulfate, the generics, any of those things that you're taking that are the lowest on the Schedule 2 narcotic, sort of in terms of strength, it's the weakest crap out there. You follow me? That stuff all has a crap load of acetaminophen in it, or ibuprofen. Well, Vicaprofen is the only one that has. Yeah, perks have acetaminophen in them. Every one. Now, perk 30s don't, because perk 30s aren't perk 30s. They're not. It's just a cool way that they can continue to sell OxyContin, right? That's really what it is. They're just selling, way too big a pill. But the people who are taking perk 30s, most of them are abusing them. Sorry. Goosebumps. Tell me who we're talking about, so I don't have to go sliding on back. Roxy Blues. Uh oh. Shannon Smith. Yeah, I remember Roxy's. They're using Advil and Vicodin now. Not much better, in my opinion. Mara, you're right. Not much better. Now, here's the deal. If you're going in and you're actually getting treated for pain, just pain. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Goose. If you're getting treated for pain, let's say, you're complaining of shoulder pain, or you got something going on with your knee, and you go in and get um, a Loratab or a Vicodin or a Percocet, the fact that you've got a anti-inflammatory in there is actually going to help as a painkiller. Trouble is, now you're addicted to them, right? And addicted to them, I used to take 14 Loratab at a time, the Loratab 10s. I'm just trying to get the hydrocodone, but taking 14 of those, they had 500 milligrams of acetaminophen in every one of them. So what I was doing to my liver is absolutely astounding. And I did it for a really long time. Well, Izzy E, thank you so much for being here tonight. You're going to go Cinderella your butt to bed. Izzy, your comment tonight touched me. It really did. Thank you for putting that up there. It meant a lot to me. I asked about alcohol and cocaine withdrawal. Well, here's the deal. Blow. Getting off blow is a mental thing. It's not a physical thing. Your joints will hurt a little bit, and you'll be irritable as hell. But the hard one is booze. Getting off booze is not easy. Shannon C says, I took oxycodone after surgeries and it didn't have Tylenol in it. I had to take it with it. Question. It was just 5 milligrams. So is oxycodone not the same as Percocet? Okay. Oxycodone is Percocet. Oxycodone is Percocet. It's the exact same drug. But technically, when they add Percocet has oxycodone as the main ingredient and an acetaminophen or an anti-inflammatory of some type mixed into it. Now, they do make a 5 milligram oxycodone pill that has nothing in it but oxycodone. They make them in 5s, 10s, 20s, and 30s. I don't think they make them in anything bigger than that anymore. They used to. You could get, back in the day, you could get anything. They were giving those out for, you stubbed your toe, they'd give you a bag of them. I was allergic to codeine, so oxycodone is what I take when the pain is bad. I only take it once in a while. Yeah, something? If you look on my medical file, it will say that I am allergic to codeine. I'm not allergic to codeine, but I've been lying about it for so long, right? I have been lying about it for so long that I can't get it off my medical file. But I didn't want a doctor to write me a prescription for codeine, right? Because codeine ain't going to go bang. I'd have to eat the entire prescription and it still wouldn't get the job done. Just does not get a junkie well. It's better than nothing, but it doesn't get a junkie well. And at that time, I actually had an office in Canada. Uh, and I could buy them over the counter, but I didn't want a doctor to ever write me a prescription for it. So you say you're allergic to it, and that means that they have to give you a much stronger painkiller. Back in 2000, when my husband died of cancer, I had to flush all his pain pills, morphine, and other hard painkillers so that my teenage daughter would not use them. I'm glad you got rid of them, and I'm not going to lecture anybody, but someone is going to. So I will say that real quickly. In the future, take that stuff to a fire department or a police station, right? Now, realistically, they're probably not going to destroy it. Those cops are probably going to take it and go get high on it. I'm not kidding. There's somebody in there that's going to grab it. But when you flush it down the toilet, it goes really, really bad. Bad things happen because it starts getting into the water system. Like right now, we've got some really weird fish because of the amount of stuff that we dump into our systems. Wildest shenanigans yet? I love the word shenanigans. I probably shouldn't, but I love it. Allison Palumbo, go to bed. I promise you're not going to miss too much more. I'm going to shut it down here shortly. It makes me hurt, and then I yak like a cartoon. Oh, I'm sorry. I take hydrocodone. The codeine actually helps to relax my muscles. Dealing with fibromyalgia pain, I have taken Tylenol, but it helps. The combination with the codeine helps. I use it responsibly. Actually, I've heard a lot of people with fibro in other countries who use codeine and seem to have a lot of success with it. More than, yes. All right, codeine number two. Yeah, we have number two. That's a Canadian thing. Down here, we have number three. They say Tylenol 3 with codeine, Tylenol 2 with codeine. North of the border's got just a little bit more punch. I don't remember how many I ate, but we bought 1,000 bottle and I ate just under 300. I don't remember what the exact number is, but over a weekend I ate 300 of them. I was you have no idea how bad off I was. Never liked the taste of alcohol. Cigarettes and Diet Coke were my jam. Well, there you go. That's a tough one. Shannon Smith, good night. It's 2:30. Yeah, you need to go to bed. One tough chick. I have nerve damage, and tramadol has kept me sane on the really bad days for 20 years. Wow. I love it. I really do, because that stuff's good. Kerfuffle, good word. Lisa Black, love you. Have a good night, eh? It's true. Mara says, Chad said we got oxys thrown at us for a few years like candy. But now when you really hurt and need something, you're a bad person, addict, drug seeker. Hell yeah. Got a little thing that flashes when you go in. It goes on the screen. Drug seeking behavior. Drug seeking behavior. Yeah. Junkie for life. Right. Now you go in and you got stuff hanging off, you dislocate your shoulder and they look at you and go, I think you're all right. You can buy some over the counter NSAIDs. Oh, I'm cuddling 11-day kittens. Kim, that's really unkind to rub that in. I'm never happier. Regina, good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. T-Frog, good to see you. All right, peeps. I think we've about run this thing about its course. 2 hours, huh? Not bad for an old man. Goosebump. That's a really great question. What's the best way we can help Reese? I would say support. A lot of people are going to, and by that I just mean kindness, right? A lot of people have been incredibly generous and kind, helping Quibs. I promise you that it's going to the transition for her is going to be as smooth as it can be. Moving is never easy, and neither is everything that goes along with what she's dealing with. But I'm gonna bust my hump to do everything within my power to make it as easy as it can be. They're never easy, but I intend to help. You know what? There's a lot of things I'm not good at. It really is. I'm good at being a friend. I am. Oh, I like the idea that the pharmacist gave him a packet to get rid of. That's awesome. Very cool concept. Thank you, Regina. Yes, I do miss Squirrel. In fact, she and I talked on the phone today for about 10 minutes. Did a little FaceTime. Sadly, I don't think she misses me much. She's got a lot of boys. My sister's kids have been going over there and hanging out with her, and she's got a grip of boys in the family. So, and they're a lot younger, so they go over and play with her. And I don't know. I think she's kind of forgetting me. But the yeah, I won't be long now, peeps. I'll be back there fetching the cat. I'm going to make sure that Squirrel is taken care of. And in the meantime, I have two cats here in one body. I'm kidding. She's a great cat, but honestly, she really is a great cat. Jamie Palmer, I'm not surprised by that. The generation that came before us, pretty tough people. They call them the greatest generation. And I believe that, right? We need a new greatest generation. We miss the cat in the basket. I do too. I do. I miss my cat. I love her and she loves me. But it's nice to have Kid here. She really is a very loving cat, and that cat took to me quick. The cat took to me quick for real. She loves me. And she is a big kitty. Happiness is a big or small cat. Doesn't matter to me. Kid really is sweet. She really is. That cat is. She's got nothing but personality, and she spends almost all day laying on her back with her paws in the air, and that just makes me happy. All right, people. Thank you. We are cat whisperers, to be sure. We really are. And Spanky is going to be going up to spend some time with Squirrel here shortly too. One tough chick. I love that. That's that whole generation, right? They'd say that they're not in pain with an arm hanging off. All right, people. I'm the Admiral Tommy Scoville, and we're still in the month of May. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be doing another long show. I'm gonna finish out the rest of this month strong, and then we're gonna talk pretty seriously tomorrow about my permanent slot. We need to figure out what time when I'm gonna be doing lifeboat stuff because I'm gonna be. Yeah, I need to make sure that we keep doing what we're doing. Calhoun's killing it. He really is. He's knocking it out of the park. I'm really, really proud of him. But what's missing is I was the money raiser. I was the guy that went out and brought donations and things in to make sure we could continue to do what we were doing, right? And that's something I got to get back to, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I've been calling people and asking them for money my entire life. Now I am doing it for a really good cause. So I'm going to be getting back to business on that. But I'm also going to have a full-time show. I just don't know when. We're going to talk about that. I am the Admiral Tommy. Monk, thanks for being here, my brother. We will see all of you tomorrow night. All right. Between now and then, you know the drill, right? Reach out and try to save somebody. Thank you, Idaho Carol. You have a great night and have a nice day tomorrow. You can tell your grandbaby I said hello. All right, peeps. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.